Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome you all to the Industrial Pharmacy lecture number 3. Our today topic is stability of pharmaceutical emulsions. Recalling from the previous lecture in which we have studied about the pharmaceutical emulsions, different classes of pharmaceutical emulsions, formulation of pharmaceutical emulsion, as well as various equipments used for emulsification. The main objective of today's topic is to learn about the stability of pharmaceutical emulsion. As you know that stability is very much important for every dosage form. Hence we are going to discuss the stability of pharmaceutical emulsion. Dear student, after completion of this topic, you will be able to know about the stability of pharmaceutical emulsions, either the physical stability or the chemical stability of the pharmaceutical emulsion. The physical instability symptoms include flocculation, creaming and sedimentation, phase inversion, and coalescence. These are symptoms of instability of the pharmaceutical emulsion. Before going to discuss the various physical and chemical stability symptoms, we will define that what is emulsion stability. Emulsion stability can be defined as the system's ability to resist changes in its physicochemical properties over time. It means that if we say that emulsion is stable, then we are claiming that there is no physical and chemical properties changes occur in that particular emulsion after passage of time. In other words, an emulsion is said to be stable if it remains as such after its preparation. It means that there will be no change in the pharmaceutical emulsion after its preparation, and it is told to be stable one. In other words, the dispersed globules will be uniformly distributed throughout the dispersed phase or dispersion medium after passage of time. In that case, the pharmaceutical emulsion is said to be stable one. There are basically two types of stability: physical stability and chemical stability. Some physical instability symptoms are flocculation, creaming and sedimentation, phase inversion, and coalescence. As soon as an emulsion has been prepared, time and temperature dependent processes occur due to affect its separation during storage. It means that during storage there are certain changes occur after passage of time and after exposing to temperature, separation occur in the pharmaceutical emulsion, which is evidenced by the physical parameters or the physical symptoms of instability that I have told you, the four classes that is shown here: flocculation, creaming and sedimentation, phase inversion, and coalescence. These are the symptoms of instability, that is physical instability, while the chemical instability include oxidation and other parameters or symptoms. Let's discuss one by one the symptoms of physical instability. This is a block diagram showing symptoms of physical instability. In simple, we can classify the physical instability into two main classes. On the left side, these three, that is flocculation, creaming and sedimentation. In these three symptoms, no change in droplet size and size of globules not occur, no change. It means that it does not alter the droplet size and the droplet size distribution. The droplet size remain constant in these three symptoms of instability, which are on the left side of the figure, including flocculation, creaming and sedimentation. It means that emulsion will be never change its droplet size and droplet size distribution. While on the right side of the figure, these are the two symptoms of instability, including physical inversion, phase inversion and coalescence. In these two cases, change in droplet size and size distribution occur. On left side, the symptom of instability, including those symptoms in which the droplet of globule size and globule size distribution not occur, while on the right side, the two symptoms of instability in which the change in droplet size and change in droplet size distribution occur. Let's discuss in detail. Flocculation. Flocculation is defined as a weak reversible association between emulsion droplets which are separated by trapped continuous phase. It means that the droplets will be separated from the continuous phase. However, these aggregates can easily be dispersed by shaking or agitation. If this emulsion is seen in the diagram, the reversible change occur after shaking. The flocculated emulsion can be redispersed into the original state, that is on the left side. Flocculation is basically influenced by the charges on the surface of the emulsified globule. Recalling from the definition in which we have studied that biphasic system containing two immersible liquids and it is stabilized by emulsifying agent, and the role of emulsifier is to reduce the interfacial tension, and by this mechanism it enhances the stability of the formulation. The reversibility of flocculation depends upon different factors. The first one is the chemical nature of emulsifier, the second one is the phase volume ratio, and the third one is the concentration of dissolved substances, especially electrolytes and ionic emulsifier. This is the third one. These are the different parameters on which the reversibility of flocculation depend upon these three parameters. The second symptoms of instability, that is creaming and sedimentation. Creaming means the upward movement of dispersed globules or droplets to form a thick layer at the surface of the emulsion. As we see in the protein milk, in which certain globules move toward the surface by making a layer, and that is termed as creaming. Creaming is a temporary phase because it can be redistributed by mild shaking or stirring to get again a homogeneous emulsion. As far as possible, creaming of an emulsion should be avoided because it may lead to cracking with complete separation of two phases. If we not avoid the creaming, it will ultimately cause the separation of the two phases in the emulsion, that is the oil and water. Under the influence of gravity, suspended particles or globules tend to upward movement, known as creaming, while the reverse case, in which the downward movement of droplets occur, this will be termed as sedimentation. It means that upward movement of the droplets is termed as creaming, and the downward movement of the droplets is termed as sedimentation. It is understood that sedimentation will be influenced by gravity. Creaming and sedimentation depends on differences in specific gravity between the two phases, that is oil and water. The rate at which the creaming or sedimentation occur, that is governed by the Stokes law, resulting from the 7th semester, in which we have studied the particle size distribution and different methods of particle size distribution, the methods of analysis of particle size distribution, in which we have studied one method, that is the sedimentation method, in which we have studied the Stokes law. Stokes law is here useful because it points out these different factors that influence the rate of sedimentation or that influence the rate of the creaming. These are diameters of suspended droplets, the viscosity of suspended medium. Suppose we have a viscous suspending medium or viscosity builder, in which we are going to disperse the droplets. The rate of sedimentation in case of highly viscous medium will be slow, and the reverse if the viscosity of the medium is not too much high. We can see emulsion. This one is creaming. The upward movement of the globules occur, while the downward movement of the globules occur. That is termed as sedimentation, as shown in the figure below. According to the Stokes law, which is basically useful for the determination of rate of creaming and the different factors which influence the rate of creaming. The equation is following. V, that is the rate of creaming, is equal to 2r square rho 1 minus rho 2 multiplied by g and divided by 9 eta. It is clear from the equation that V is the rate of creaming and R is the radius of globule. It means that the square of radius of globules will be directly proportional to the rate of creaming, that is V. While the differences in the densities, that is the rho 1, that is the density of dispersed phase, that is internal phase, and rho 2, that is the density of continuous phase or the dispersion medium. If that difference, that is the rho 1 minus rho 2, the difference is high, it means that the rate of creaming will be increased. And here is the gravitational constant, and eta, that is viscosity of the continuous phase. As in the previous slide I have told you that if the viscosity of the continuous phase or dispersion medium is higher, it means that the rate of sedimentation or rate of creaming will be slow. It means that on the upper side of the equation, that is r square rho 1 minus rho g difference, that is the density difference in g, by increasing these factors we can increase the rate of creaming or rate of sedimentation, while increasing the viscosity, that is the inversely proportional to the V, that is the rate of creaming. Another symptoms of instability, that is coalescence, that is the process in which the dispersed phase droplets or globules join or merge to form a larger particle. It means that smaller globules will merge with each other to form a larger globule, and the emulsion generally cannot be recovered by simple agitation. In the previous symptom of instability, in which we study that it can be recovered by mild shaking, that is the flocculation. In flocculation, the droplets become associated with one another, but flocculation is a reversible phenomenon as compared to the coalescence. When two droplets come into contact with one another, that is a floccule, that is the large clumps of the droplets occur, then liquid film composed of continuous phase and adsorbed emulsifier are formed between them, which discourage the recovery of the globules to the original position. Coalescence takes place in two distinct steps. It begins with the drainage of these films as the droplets approach one another and end with film rupture. Now how we will prevent the coalescence? Hence the major factor which prevent coalescence is the mechanical strength of electrical barrier. That is why natural gum, that is the gums obtained from the natural origin, that is the plant origin, and proteins are so useful as auxiliary emulsifier. It means that auxiliary emulsifiers will be used. For example, natural gums and protein when used at low level, but can even be used as prime emulsifier at high concentration. We can prevent the coalescence by using the auxiliary emulsifier in low concentration, or even though we can use the primary emulsifier at high concentration to prevent the coalescence, that is the larger clumps formation of the globule by merging the small droplets to form the larger one. Another symptoms of instability that is termed as phase inversion. In phase inversion, one type of emulsion, that is either oil and water or water and oil, is converted to the other type of emulsion. Suppose oil and water, that will be converted into water and oil, or vice versa. It is a physical instability. It may be brought about by the addition of an electrolyte, for example addition of calcium chloride into oil and water type of emulsion formed by sodium stearate. It can be inverted to water and oil. And it can be prevented by changing the phase volume ratio. The temperature changes. Remember that the temperature at which the phase inversion occurs, that is termed as PIT. P for phase, I for inversion, and T for temperature, phase inversion temperature. It is recommended that in certain cases we are favoring the emulsion prepared by phase inversion. In this case, first we will prepare one emulsion, that is suppose oil and water, by using a stabilizer. It will be converted to the water and oil, and again after heating and cooling condition, that will be converted to the original position, that is the oil and water. You can consult this example in the Lakeman Industrial Pharmacy book. The second class of instability, that is termed as chemical instability of emulsion. Definitely it will bring about the chemical changes in the pharmaceutical emulsion. This may be due to oxidation, this may be due to microbial growth, and there are certain other chemical changes that occur in the pharmaceutical emulsion. Let's discuss oxidation. Many organic compounds, when going to subject to auto-oxidation upon exposure to air, emulsified lipids are particularly sensitive to attack. Recalling from the rancidity that you have studied in the first year biochemistry chapter lipid, rancidity, when the lipids are exposed to oil, it causes rancidity, that is better unpleasant smell occur. Many drugs commonly incorporated into emulsions are subject to auto-oxidation and resulting decomposition. Upon auto-oxidation, unsaturated oils such as vegetable oil give rise to rancidity with resultant unpleasant odor, appearance and taste, which is not desirous for us. On the other hand, mineral oil and related Saturated hydrocarbons are subject to oxidative degradation only under rare circumstances. It means that the first one, that is unsaturated oils like vegetable oils, will cause rancidity, and that is the unpleasant odor and appearance and taste, while on the other hand the saturated hydrocarbon and mineral oil that are not prone to oxidative degradation, if it occurs, then it is in rare cases or rare condition it occurs. Autooxidation is a free radical chain reaction. It can be inhibited by these three factors: by the absence of oxygen. If the oxygen is deprived in this reaction, then there will be no oxidation occur. And the second one is by free radical chain breaker, and the third one, that is by a reducing agent, we can inhibit the auto-oxidation. There are certain antioxidants that are used in the pharmaceutical formulation to control the oxidation or degradation by the oxidation. Example include ascorbic acid, that is suitable for oral use products; sulfides, that is also suitable for oral use products; L-tocopherol, that is widely used in the pharmaceutical products and cosmetic products, and also useful for oral preparation. For example, those containing vitamin A. Another example of the chemical instability, that is the microbial growth. Emulsions often contain several ingredients such as carbohydrate, proteins, sterols, phosphatides, all of which are readily supported to growth of a variety of microorganisms. It means that these ingredients or certain other ingredients may be responsible for the growth of a number of microorganisms. Even in the absence of any of the above mentioned ingredients, the mere presence of a mixture of liquid and water and intimate contact frequently allows microorganism growth. It means that if the ingredients mentioned above are not present in the formulation, even though a mixture of the water and liquid exists, it also favors the microbial growth. So it is necessary and the need of the formulation to use preservative in formulation to avoid the microbial growth. Some of the antimicrobial agents include quaternary, such as quaternary ammonia salt, chlorhexidine and salts, benzalkonium chloride, cetyl, trimethyl ammonium bromide. You can consult Lackman, The Theory and Practice of Industrial Pharmacy, 3rd edition, page number 526 to 527. The pages may be varied in the latest edition or any other edition, but remember that you can consult physical and chemical parameters that influence or that must be considered while formulating the pharmaceutical emulsion. Remember that the additive used in the pharmaceutical emulsion must be of known concentration within the limit and should be compatible with the active pharmaceutical ingredient as well as the other additives used in the formulation. Thank you for your attention.